What up? Hope everyone's having a good Thursday. And just to clarify, it is not my birthday today, but I got a early birthday present from my good friend Chaotic Beauty and Crime, and she got me this based on, I don't know if anyone saw it, but the live from Saturday night where I was joined by with Mayo, who's here to see what's in this box with me, and LA and Kai. So it got kind of crazy, and it is on members only. So if you want to see it, you got to join, and don't join for true crime because that's not what you're going to see. I don't. I have two members only lives, and they're just goof offs. So I don't know. I can't seem to make myself put true crime on members only, so I don't do it. But I have been working on a live. I was going to do it tonight, but my daughter's home, so I'm going to make this one a pretty short live for the unboxing and go live maybe tomorrow afternoon for the Oklahoma 6, the massacre in Oklahoma that has been unfolding, and it is just keeps getting more and more outrageous, like by the day, like by the hour, literally. It is insane, and I think there's a lot more victims, and there sure are more missing persons that fit his victimology in and around that area. So we're going to take a look at that. I've got the timeline pretty much done and all the links ready to go. So look for that tomorrow night. How you doing, Mayo?
I'm very interested in what's in the
I
box.
know. I went ahead and cut it open because I didn't want to do that live. So we don't need to have like a bloody massacre on camera or anything crazy. Okay. I'm kind of scared, just saying. That live was pretty crazy, so it could be a number of things. Now I have to read this damn thing. I don't have any more excuses for all the shit I don't know. Oh my
Well, now you
word.
have a quick desk reference.
Yeah, hopefully it has like a index. Oh, it does. Phew. Wait, that's not an index. It's not telling me the pages to go to. What the heck? Some of these are weird. Like people don't know what a yard sale is? That made the book. It's probably a clean version. A laugh whore.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it is a person who laughs at all of your jokes just to gain acceptance from you. Well, that makes sense. These are probably all like really logical, and I just miss the boat. These are free boobing. That's the thing.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it means that you're not wearing a bra under your shirt. All right.
I thought that was just letting the puppies breathe.
Yeah, it's free balling for men.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then free boobing. All right. I'm all about that. Flirtation ship. Oh my gosh, that's a thing.
That sounds like some Jersey Shore stuff.
Oh, the D one's got a lot. All right, I'm gonna see what else is in here. Now this is good. See how many we can name, how many of these serial killers we can actually name.
Oh, good Lord.
The bullet journal Is that like one of those things I should look up in the Urban Dictionary, a bullet journal? That
Is
like
that like all their stats?
Mayo has an echo. Oh, it's probably me. Hold on. What is all this jazz? Does he have an echo now?
Testing, testing. Nope, no echo.
Cool. Organized in video ideas. Yeah, right. I am not paper organized, but the cover's super cool. I don't know. I think there's a lot of
So is that
shopping
just
in
like a
here.
quick stats of all the serial killers?
No, it's a journal of shopping lists. So the only shopping I do is, oh, there's a grid. I don't know what I'm going to put on that, but we were talking about it earlier today,
Oh,
were we not?
yep.
We can put your house on here to help you spring clean. You're gonna have to go
But
to
I really
Costco
wanted to
more.
take spray paint and do the lines.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was
Right through the
probably
middle of
like
the living room.
I think yeah, I should have just known that you would know that. Oh God. I think this shirt says Tito's. Tito's made me do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it really does loosen my lips right up. I'll tell you what.
yeah. Blame it on the vodka. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I do that every day. I just wonder how many times I stick my foot in my mouth that nobody catches me on because LA is like a pro catcher.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh yeah.
so I know that I'm doing it other places. Like sometimes my family will be like, let's not say that out loud, or asking questions because I don't know something. Just like ask me privately, like, not in front of a whole group or at the mall or never that I don't ever go there. But hey, chat. Hey, Lake. Chaotic. Um, Deb, Frank Meister, Fluzzy B, Chris, Crime Geek, hello. Real Gypsy Soul, Grandma Sherry. These names are just like so fun. Like, what if you just called people that in person? Like, I just called her like Chaotic Beauty all the time instead of her real name. It'd be more fun. Hey, Crimezilla. Argumentative, selective, mute. Thanks for being a member. That is a mouthful. I don't say W's very well. And so, man, when there's like channels with like, especially if it's more than like one W, yeah, they just come out a mess. Like I can't say WW 1, 2, none of those wars. I just have to say WW. I've tried working on it over the years and it just comes out like whoa. I don't know.
That's strange.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's the same thing with that Slimucast. Like I understand it comes from simultaneously, but
So you can't say simulcast?
simulcast. I can if you say it first.
Okay.
But then when I'm thinking of it in my head, it just it won't come to me. But I wanted to tell everyone I was gonna drop some links. True Crime Web is I think he's actually still alive, but y'all know I've covered the Amber Crumb case. I put a lot of work into that. I'd love it if you went and checked out the video and liked it and shared it. But Mob Crew, True Crime Web, Mr. Larry, and a geophysicist and her sister, who was talking about genealogy tonight, went to Texas to search the property that Amber lived at the time with her mother and mother's boyfriend. So they turned over some interesting things. Mob Crew kind of showed a lot of that. And True Crime Web has been doing some interviews, and I think Larry's going to be on Saturday, so don't miss that. And then, of course, Chaotic, go join her channel. Most of the time when we go live late night, it is only on her channel, not on mine.
So they actually went and visited the property?
Yeah, they did. She did, what's it called? I don't know. It's not, I don't know. I forgot all the names.
Like live stream?
No, she puts what the geophysicist did. She did like a grid and ran lines with electrodes into the ground. It's basically resistive current, I think, but I don't know the actual like name of the technique or whatever. But it's pretty cool. I like to watch that kind of stuff, like all that nerdy, like, how things are done. Like, I find it fascinating. So I really enjoyed her. Her name's Caroline. She has a channel too, a new one. Yeah. And then her sister kind of ended up being kind of like the organizer, I think, of like information. And now like she kind of knows some stuff about genetic genealogy. But yeah, so that's been cool to see that unearthed. I mean, it's been 40 forking years, and like I talked to Mr. Larry Ambers, she was 2 in 1983 when she disappeared from his truck. But a witness at the grocery store said that there was no child in the in the truck. So the ex-boyfriend was charged, but the judge decided that, or basically a grand jury said you don't have enough. It was either the grand jury or judge said you don't have enough, and that was the end of it. So every year Mr. Larry calls them on Christmas because this happened on Christmas. And yeah, it's just a really unfortunate. He just wants his little girl back, like, good God. It's just so horrible. I can't imagine.
Have you ever heard of Kimberly Morrow?
Yeah, it sounds a little bit familiar.
She's missing out of Maine.
Oh, really?
Disappeared on prom night in 1987.
Oh, geez.
She was in my class.
Really?
And this is a very small school, like 68 people in my graduating class.
Wow, that sucks.
And her father, Dick Morrow, has been wanting answers.
I bet.
Since that day. And it's just a shame. We're coming up on her, I think, 38th anniversary of being missing.
Wow. Do they have any leads whatsoever? Nothing, or
They do, but it was treated by the local police as a runaway at the time. So they didn't get a look at the car until 20 years later.
wow.
I think I need to adjust my mic here. Hold on.
That's crazy.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's right.
and thank you, Chaotic Beauty and Crime. You're so sweet and you're so thoughtful. And I love my shirt. I'm going to wash it right away so I can wear it. And then that gives me an excuse to drink more Tito's.
That could be your official Tito's drinking stream shirt.
Yeah, she got me another one too. It says, oh, what does it say, Chaotic? It's classic. I don't give something like I screenshot it. I don't give a fuck. I have screenshots or something. I can't remember what the whole saying is, but it was funny. Like she gets me she's so thoughtful. She gets me gifts based on all my like bloopers. I mean,
it's good she focused on the ones she did and not the other ones. That's for sure. She did well.
Yeah, she did do good. Sorry, I got like family stuff going on, but yeah, she did do good. And she didn't do too dirty. I should have known that she wasn't gonna, because I was like, I told him before we came on here, I'm like super afraid there's gonna be like a chastity belt for my dog or a Hannibal Lecter or like the other thing that I probably shouldn't mention, but I will. I thought there was a possibility that there would be like some kind of vibrating thing in there based on all my bloopers lately. Oh my gosh, I've been going tanning for Mexico, and today I got into a vibrating capsule. It was wild. Oh. Yeah. I'm sorry, girl.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Chaotic she just texted me that she had to leave the chat. Her Callie girl, her doggy, just passed away.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, they got some bad news at the vet, and they thought they were being referred to get like a tumor removed, and it ended up it had spread. So
oh, Jesus.
They were informed today that it was, a matter of like days, weeks. So I know that pain. This is going to sound terrible, but I mourned more for my Doberman than I have like humans that have died. I don't know. I think it's because he was with me every day,
Well, they're also innocent.
Yeah, like they're just
not your dog now, but
I was gonna say, like, you really think so?
That's the
Because
devil,
I'm
but
gonna
most
clip
dogs
that.
are innocent. I mean,
I'm gonna clip that. Yeah, my monster is, they're right. I think I am in an abusive relationship with him. I think we all are, but I'm gonna start taking pictures of him, and then I'm gonna put them into, like, a slideshow so that everyone can, appreciate the laughs that he, brings to us on a daily. I should probably show the other side of that, you know?
it's also not his fault.
No, it's not.
His behaviors are not his fault.
They're not,
You know,
like, dogs don't have the capacity to, like, feel bad. Well, no, he
that's a
doesn't.
play they learn to do for humans. I hate to say it,
Yeah.
but
You think so? Like, he doesn't
yeah,
feel bad. Like, he doesn't even play at that, like,
yeah.
trust me.
But you've had
Um,
those dogs that like, you yell at them and they cower and look at you all
yeah.
sweet, and yeah, they're just play acting.
Yeah, Doe used to, leave the room. Cause he was like a typical, like, what Dobermans are bred to do type
Yeah,
dog. He guarded and he herded too. But he was a guard dog. Like, he came to us that way. Like, we didn't he was just, there is this breeder a town over, and they breed German Dobermans. So they're a little bit different than the American ones. They're not as dainty. Like, they're not as tall. They don't have as long legs. So they kind of look like they got a little rot in them.
they
Rottweiler.
kind of look like thin rots.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
And we got him. So basically, he was like dumped outside of the vet's office in Avon. And my, like, not me, but um, my significant other's friends with that vet. So they just called him and was like, we don't know how old he is, but he's still a puppy. He's more than likely a purebred, like, German Doberman, because they keep doing this to us. The thing that pissed me off is, like, it's the middle of winter and they just left him there, like, in front of like, just tied up to the door of the
yeah,
vet's office. Like,
they don't care. I mean,
they don't give a fuck. But I think what happened was his tail was docked wrong, because his tail was, like, this long, and normally they're about like that when they dock their tails when they're
yeah,
puppies. And, I think he was the runt of the litter too, which he ended up being the best one out of the bunch. But man, he came to us, like, fully ready to work. It was crazy. Like, we didn't even train him we did a rigorous, like, training, but it wasn't specific to, like, emotional support or medical alert or guarding or
yeah.
herding. None of that. Like, he just did all that on his own. It took us a few times to realize, like, what he was doing. Like, he would sit down in front of and, like, be posted up when someone was about to get sick. And it took us a while to catch on, but after that, it was, like, such a nice, forewarning. It's like, "Okay, get all the paper towels, get the rags, because 'cause you're about to have a nosebleed," and then wouldn't you know it, he would wake me up and not drag me, but, like, basically not leave me alone until I got up, and then he would run back and forth to my daughter's room. She had really bad sleep apnea and hypoventilation, and I don't know if he smelled the difference. I don't know what it was, but he would wake me up to go to her room to kind of do, like, a sternal rub on her to, like, get her breathing back regulated.
Yeah.
And or yeah, her heart rate drops really low, like in the low 30s when she's asleep.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, like the hypoxic type stuff and the
Yeah.
hypoventilation was something that, like, before Doe, I never really slept in a bed because I was so scared she was gonna die, like, in her sleep.
Yeah.
And I slept on a mattress on her floor with my hand through the slat for probably a year. Um, but she would just stop breathing, and it would be, like, so long before she would start breathing again, but so it was so nice having him. So that's why we really miss him. Plus, he trained Monster, even though he didn't retain it. Uh, but I am sorry, Crime Geek. I know the pain of losing a dog, and I know that you love your baby. She's got, well, I think they have, well, they, the little guy just died not too long ago, too. So she's lost two in a matter of like 5 months.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And they've got Adobe. He is beautiful. But he's a typical American Dobie, like, he is a bumpus, like, my brother had American Dobies, and they just, like, we called them the bumpuses because they just had no idea how, like, their body hit things and knocked everything over,
Oh,
including
yeah.
you. Like, it was crazy. Doe wasn't like that. Doe was, like, very he was more like what you see, military dogs do, where they
Yeah.
just kinda stay right next and they look at you, you know? Like, he was more like that, like, he stayed in his own space, but near you. We used to walk him with no leash, and the neighborhood would get so upset, and I'm just like, "I don't care. He doesn't need one." Like, but then when we got Monster, we had to leash him so that Monster would walk with him because we didn't trust him for nothing. But,
I need to look at getting another one because mine's 12 right now.
um what breed?
She is a Aussie Shepherd. Not a Aussie Shepherd. Um, Australian Kelpie. That's it.
Australian Kelpie.
It
I don't know
the
what that looks
actual
like.
dog that tamed Australia, not the sheepdog.
That
I'm
tamed
serious.
Australia?
Yes.
A dog.
Yes.
I have to see what this dog looks like.
Yes.
What did
They're
you say it was?
they're herders by breed, and they're known for running over the entire flock of sheep
You
on their
said
backs.
Kelpie? Kelpie?
Yep, Kelpie.
Aw. They're super cute. They kinda look like, um, well, I don't know, maybe this picture isn't one, but it kinda looks like it's got the same coloring as
Oh, yep,
Adobe's.
yep. Mine is
Wow.
like the front picture.
This one?
She's colored like that. Yeah.
I don't know what I clicked on. Yeah, that's cute. How big is she?
I mean,
Are
she's
they
little because she was her first cycle. She got pregnant,
Oh, geez.
so somebody dropped her off.
Yeah.
So a lot of her growing went to her puppies that didn't survive. So like her
Yeah.
teeth are only half developed,
Oh my gosh.
you
That's
know,
sad.
and then being starved too at the same time didn't help. So,
Exactly. Yeah, that's probably what a lot is wrong with, good old Monster.
but she lives in the lap of luxury now. That's for sure.
Yeah. So does he. So does
Trying to make
he.
up for her horrible past every day.
Yeah, Crime Geek says my dog is a repeat offender. He really is. I think I'm gonna try to take him over to, ooh, I hate even saying it out loud because I feel like I'm contributing to the delinquency or the rape of other dogs. But I wanna take him over there medicated. Like,
Oh, to
see
like a
if
dog park or something?
oh, hell no, he can never
Oh,
go to a dog park.
okay,
Abs
good.
I would never take him to a dog park. That would be I can't even imagine what that would be because it would never happen. Yeah, he's not prepared for dog parks at all. I mean, he can't even go on a walk. So he just thinks I think a lot of it has to do with the leash too. Like he thinks he's so tough. But he really is not at all. But yeah, dogs are good. I'd rather do like a dog show or like a comedy night with Mayo in LA. We'd start our own show. True crime
Oh
just
God,
gets overwhelming
that'd be
and
hilarious.
people are just sometimes they're just like so ridiculous. Ugh.
There's a lot of passion in true crime. I noticed.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
man, once somebody's in a camp,
oh my
man,
gosh. Yeah.
it's hard to pry them out of it.
And for me, I know this sounds bad, but it's just the truth. Um, because of all that I do to Greeno, because he's so working deserves it, like no doubt in my mind, and you know, it's great. But people think that like that's what I do and like I want to do that to other creators and it's like no, I really don't care.
No, it's
I
really just him.
It's just him. Like I gave all my forks to him and like I don't care about anyone else. Like I do try to stand up for Randy when Randy gets picked on, but like other than that, like all this stuff with wife Lilith, like I don't get it. Like
Yeah, that brought out some emotions, boy.
yeah, really did. And like I get a lot of emails of like, don't talk to this YouTuber or this YouTuber did that. You should call him out and like all these things. And I think it's just because of they saw how dogged I can be when a YouTuber pisses me off. But I just don't, I can't care about all them, you know,
Well,
like Wife
YouTube is
Lil.
like a little high school hallway.
Yeah, like Wife Lilith comes into my chat. She's always respectful. Like I've never had an issue with her. I mean, and the thing is like people do know that I did that same thing. They give her shit for the contacting Kegan Klein and pretending to be interested in him. But I did the same thing. Nobody says a
To
word
try and
to
get
me
some
about that.
information.
Yeah, Nakota Kelly, he was murdered in 2020 by his father. He was cut up into at least 3 different black trash bags.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and his remains were deposited from here to Missouri. So, the thing when I was talking to his mother, Haley, was he is just the most spiteful, petty, like evil. So you put petty and evil together and you get this monster, you know? And like he is his focus is purely on hurting her. He did not try to cover up this crime one single bit at all, not at
Oh,
all.
Jesus.
He knew he was going to get caught. He told people, he FaceTimed people and showed them, but he wanted to make sure that she would never find her son's body. And I felt like me and a group of my closest friends, in this world, we created a persona for me to play. And I talked, Haley was completely in on the entire thing. She knew why I wanted to do it. What I thought we could potentially get out of it is if we can get the focus off of him and get him to like me, then potentially I could use that against him to get him to tell them where his body is. Of just like saying, like, you could get the death penalty, which he can't, is the death penalty for what he did. And
Yeah.
not alone that, but he's an illegal alien, which really pisses me off because even in the court system, this fucker had more rights than anything I've ever seen.
Yep.
That he was given more leeway in the
Oh yeah.
court. Like, so it really is America. I mean, I know Trump tried, but like America makes it really, really hard to come to this country legally. But if you get in here illegally, America is your oyster. That's all I can
Yep.
say.
Yep.
And it is vile. It's vile, like
Well, I mean, you look at all those
from
people
personal
lined up at the border right
experience.
now.
I have dealt with this from personal experience. And I have also written a letter to a judge in order for a visa to be extended for a friend of mine who technically was here illegally after that expired, if that makes any sense. Great guy. Love him, and so I have advocated. I've been on the other side, but I've also been sitting in DCS, Department of Family Services is what I meant to say, because of trying to get the proper help for my daughter when she was first diagnosed. And like our insurance is 80/20. There's no like down, like you get to a certain amount and they pay 100%. It's just
Yeah.
80/20 all the time. And it's really good insurance unless you have a daughter that has 9 specialists.
Yeah.
and every surgery has to be an admittance to a hospital, like the geneticist going to Cincinnati, like all the stuff that we've had to do. Like I can't, one of her medicines is like, I think it's like 4,000 every 6 months. Like,
Yeah.
I can't pay even 20% of that every 6 months. That's just one. Most of her lung medicines were all together that if I had to pay them out of pocket, they would have cost me altogether probably 5,000 a month just for those. Like, it's insane. And so you can't, she qualified for Social Security disability insurance. I did not want them to pay me. I work. I just need the insurance so that she gets the best care as a supplemental insurance,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's not
Like,
how it's designed.
it was awful. Okay, the office is in Plainfield. I live in Brownsburg. So on a good day, it's 25 minutes. Not bad. 25 minutes there and back. But the problem was I had to schedule appointments, even though I would get in there and sit and sit and sit. Meanwhile, I had to watch family after family be greeted by an interpreter and taken right back. And then they're out of there 10 minutes later. They didn't have a stack of papers in their hand. They had nothing. And they were all foreign. And it was just upsetting to see because here I am sitting there with like, I thought I'd brought all the right paperwork This happened to me 3 times. You know, they tell you what they want, but then when you get there, they need this too.
Oh yeah.
And so finally, I had the man put my entire filing like accordions. Just they were all in the back seat of the car because I'm not leaving there again. Like,
Yeah.
and then I find out that not only do I have to do that, but I have to apply through Social Security online, which was ridiculous. So, like, I mean, I worked on this for so long, just trying to make sure that she had the best care because I also went from, well, I was just me and my 2 girls at that time, and, I made plenty of money, enough to take care of us, pay our rent, car payment, and have extra, and, like, I was totally fine. When this happened, I could no longer work that much, you know? Like, it wasn't feasible. So,
Yeah.
we had to make some changes, and it was just like, my God, it was unbelievable how hard it was, and then just sitting there and watching families that come to this country illegally, and they get, walked right back with an interpreter, no paperwork whatsoever because they don't have any, and, meanwhile, been an American my whole life, born and raised, and I just can't even explain to you how much paperwork it was just to get a supplemental insurance for her.
Oh,
And then they
when
kicked her off a year later.
oh yeah.
They kicked her off because she didn't have any learning disabilities or psychological illness, like no mental illness. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like the list of her medical like terms and diagnoses is a page long, and she didn't qualify. And they kept asking me like, does she have trouble in school? Is she seen by a psychiatrist? And I'm like, no. But apparently, if I just lied and said that she had like OCD or ADHD, you know, that she wouldn't have been kicked off of it. It's just stupid. No, we're sorry that you're going through that. Like, dude, yeah. You guys were
It's it,
there for me when Doe died, and whatever you need.
well, it's just like filing for Social Security disability in those states where they make you go through the entire thing the first time just to be turned down automatically.
True story.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't even look at all the work that you've done that they've required you to do. They just deny it, hoping that you will give up.
Yeah.
I swear to God, they try to overwhelm you with paperwork and force you to give up. But then again, on the flip side, um, once she was kicked off of Social Security disability, they put her on Medicaid as her backup insurance, which was not what I wanted because we can't travel outside of state with that. But we could with the Social Security's disability insurance. But then it became a decade-long fear of making too much money because I swear the government they want you to live off them. Yeah, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
like
You
I
have to become a dependent.
yeah, I think I would if I had have not been so stubborn and just quit my job and my full-time job was taking care of her or, you know, just being at home, um, I would have been better off. Like,
Oh yeah.
it is insane. They punish you for working.
Yep.
Make that make sense. There isn't there I you know, like my oldest brother, well, both my brothers and my sister, they're very well off, and they couldn't even afford this, you know? Like, it's not feasible. Unless you are a billionaire, like multi-millionaire, it's not feasible. You can't do it.
Yeah.
One of her surgeries alone was almost a mil. Like,
Jesus.
that's not feasible. It's just not. And between her 2 knee surgeries, definitely over a mil, you know?
Yeah.
Because of all of the extra stuff that they have to do to keep her safe, and each specialization that has to be involved in her care.
And
Uh,
that's a scam in itself.
yeah.
Specializations now.
Oh my god, they're so special. Like,
Well, like when I was a kid, right? I broke my wrist, or when I broke my arm, or when I broke my leg. I went to the
mhm,
emergency room. I got a cast,
yeah,
and I was told to go to the doctor in 4, 6, or 8 weeks to get it cut off.
right.
I didn't just get a temporary splint
Then go to the orthopedic.
and then had to go to
There's
orthopedist. And there was no such thing as physical therapy.
no,
I was an 8-year-old boy.
right.
I
Yeah,
mean, the cast was half broken off by the time I got to take it
yeah.
off anyway.
And that's the thing, like, in these types of situations, like, the geneticists are the ones that kinda take the lead on, on as your care team, but, um, I don't know. We had a few, and they were great as far as making sure things got faxed, but the specialists are so specialized now. I mean, like,
Yeah.
literally, I mean, I get it, like, within the profession, but you should know how the rest of the body systems work together with the organ that you specialize in. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I had to learn it all and become, like a encyclopedia for her, just to make sure that everything was covered, because they were so special that they didn't work outside of their systems, like, at all. It's nuts.
Yeah. I realized very quick in my case, my disability case, that if I wouldn't advocate for myself, no one would.
Yep,
So I
that's
had to
true.
read everything. I got all my medical records, everything.
Yeah. They made that so hard on me. But, like, the geneticists had requested it. So, like, they wanted all of, like, my pregnancy records because it was atrocious, and then birth records all the way up. And, like, I kept having to go to the hospital that she was born at, and they're just, like, acted like I wasn't entitled to that information. I'm like, "Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am, and you're gonna give it to me today. I don't care how many papers you have to print off. Like,
Yeah.
give me my child's file. She's my child. I know the law here. You're not going to trick me into leaving." Like, it's just insane. But I've had a uphill battle with, pediatricians and all of her specialists because of my stance on vaccination. Like, I just, didn't I was not going to be moved, and I made a educated decision not to vaccinate my children when they were babies.
Yeah.
And, the doctors hated that.
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't even get a pediatrician to agree to be their pediatrician. They couldn't turn us away, but they would not be their pediatrician of record unless we got them vaccinated. And all I can say is, like, I don't ever talk to many people about it. Like, it's one of those like topics you don't talk about. But at this point, with what is going on right now, I think that it is time to start talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, this
It's
this this latest thing woke a lot of people up.
I hope so. Yeah, I really hope so. And when I saw that, I will never be able to say his name, but he is um, a Russian virologist, and he's worked for all the big pharma tech. He's a vaccine designer, like he
Yeah.
is one of the top scientists in the field. Before his stance on COVID, his opinion was very highly regarded. And he basically said, like, what you're about to do is going to be a disaster. The fallout and the effects that this is going to have on our children are is it's too big of a risk. We need to do this in a Trojan horse type attack as far as the vaccine goes.
Yeah.
And he was right. He was totally right. Children should not be dying from heart attacks in their 20s. Just
No.
saying. Just saying.
No,
Um,
the military is
mm,
now trying to pair their pilots up
mm,
on vaccinated and unvaccinated.
no shit.
Yep.
Wow. That is very telling right there.
Because they've had pilots die in the cockpit.
And that's the thing is, like, everybody knows people that have just been dropping dead. Like, we had one, two, three, four friends drop dead. J- uh, uh, I don't know. But yeah, I was like, I did end up getting the one of them just so that I could see my nephew when he was born. My sister does not agree with me on vaccines at all.
Yeah.
But like, I really did, like, people just think like, oh, you're one of those, and it's like, no, I hated one of those. I did not want to be one of those, because like, when I wanted I didn't want to follow in my parents' footsteps on that. I thought that they were crazy, and because they didn't vaccinate us. And my dad just asked me, like, it is your decision. I just want you to make it educated.
Yeah.
Do
Oh,
your
my.
research. And I did. And after doing my research, I mean, I took basically my whole pregnancy. I had, 8 months to research this before I had to make the decision. And man, it was frightening. And now, my aunt, who is a nurse, and my cousin, who is a PA, they are literally like, um, along with, like, with me, like, my cousin had called me, she vaccinated her son, and it turned into a disaster, and it was immediate. There was no denying that it was vaccine related injury.
Well, I told my VA doctor, she was
Mhm.
like, "Well, you have to get the vaccine." I said, "No, I don't." She
Yeah.
goes, "Yes, you do." I said, "Okay." I said, "I will get the vaccine if you prescribe it to me." She's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I won't do that." I said, "Then I'm not getting the vaccine."
Right.
And I'm not anti-vax. I've got 4 vaccine passports
Yeah.
from when I was in the service for
Mhm.
my shot record.
Yeah.
You know, I've been given vaccine on top of vaccine on top of vaccine
Yeah.
because the way the military loses records.
Oh, geez.
But I damn sure wasn't getting that one.
Yes, I did, Crime Geek. We went to the premiere of that, my aunt and my cousin and myself, and we also did a lot of research as a team, because they have access to, um, peer-reviewed research from not only America but other countries. And but back then, I had a study done that I found in Japan, and all they did was delay the vaccine schedule, and then over a 10-year period, looked at the data of sudden infant death, autism, like a lot. What's that? Bleeding. There's like a blood infection. There's like a whole list, and the rates of those was dramatic just from delaying vaccines until after 2 years old. So the data on that was just undeniable, like I couldn't look at that and then not and unsee it, you know, it was so strong. And then just the fact of they're rare, but sometimes you can find them in Amish communities. They don't vaccinate, and yes, it is an insular type uh you know study group, but you also see, like my children, when I did hair analysis on them, they had absolutely no heavy metals in their body. And you can stack up 12 vaccinated children and 12 unvaccinated children, and the hair analysis is going to give you the exact same data. That's just a fact. But so many people just ignore all these things. I mean, vaccines are based on homeopathics, which is what I grew up with in the health food store,
Well, real vaccines are.
Yeah. These are
Real
not.
inoculations are.
Yeah.
But these aren't real inoculations.
No. And my biggest argument was, okay, you want to give my child this, what's the main one that causes all kinds of problems, the measles, mumps, rubella.
Oh, MMR.
Yeah. And okay, so we're sitting there in the pediatrician's office, and I'm like, okay, like, as when my children got older, I did do certain vaccines for them. And I'm sitting there, and they bring in a clipboard with a whole stack of exemption slips, like papers, that each parent that is getting their child vaccinated, you have to sign this waiver that you will not hold this particular office, this medical office, responsible for a vaccine injury. And they will not give the vaccine until you sign that piece of paper.
That's why I asked my VA doctor to prescribe it.
Right. And I'm reading over it, and I'm like, you literally just proved my point all these years. Like, every parent has to sign these? Oh, yes, ma'am, that's protocol. And I'm like, do they read them? Like,
no.
Well, and then again, and during the Reagan administration, like, he took off all accountability for the pharmaceutical companies that were designing and mass producing these vaccines.
Yeah.
Because they were getting sued too much. So now there is no checks and balance, like we do with the FDA, that we do with other medications that are on the market. Like, some of them go through decades before we ever see them on the market, but not vaccines. Something to think about.
Well, I was inoculated against chicken pox when I was a child. As
Yeah.
soon as one of our friends came down with chicken pox, we all went over to their house and played with them.
Yeah. They used
And
to
we
call
all
them
got
chicken
chicken
pox
pox.
parties.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
got
I
it out of
remember
the way.
But see, the thing is, because my children were not vaccinated, they because they are females, there's a risk for pregnancy. So that was one that they did get when they were like 12. But yeah, I don't know. I've just always been that person. I was like, if I'm going to do, I've got to know, I have to research it. Like, I can't just like blindly do anything and just like obey. I don't care. I know that they're the professionals, they went to school, but I also know the very little section of their actual course load that is dedicated to vaccines. It's,
Yeah, it's
it's,
like a
it's
day or two.
ridiculously,
Yeah.
yeah, it's literally ridiculous and it's intentional. Yeah. But like my aunt, she ended up being one of the founding members of Doctors and Nurses Against Vaccines in the state of Indiana, um, through all of this. And they go before legislation, Congress, like all the different brand, they've been, and there are starting to be a coalition of doctors and nurses against vaccines, against the
Well,
way that they're doing vaccines now.
well, and you know who's bringing these diseases back into America? They're all
Yeah.
walking across the southern border.
Yeah. Yeah. And then herd immunity is just a lie. It's insane. And people were always okay. So, like, I used to get tons of grief when my kids were little, like take like mom groups or whatever, which I never fit in anyway. But like I had friends that were so just upset, and like, well, I mean, we can't even, your kids are not vaccinated. They can't be around ours. And I'm like, make that make sense. Your kids are vaccinated. What you scared of? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
hello, like you're proving my point. Like, and there was times with the schools, because everybody thinks that if your kid goes to public school, it's mandated. It is absolutely not. There's hardly any states that are mandated. I don't know, because that's against your constitutional rights. And so like Indiana has an exempt medical and religious or belief, like ideology exemptions. And your kid can go to public school and not be vaccinated, and there isn't anything that they can do about it.
But they'll
It's
tell
very
you they
simple.
can do things about it.
Yes, they do. They try to intimidate you into
Yeah.
getting them. And for people that don't do any research, they're just like, oh, well, we have to, we have to do it on the schedule too, or our kid will get kicked out of public school.
See, that's
No,
my biggest problem is the schedule. It
mine
it
too.
seems very aggressive.
It is overwhelmingly aggressive for
Yeah.
a baby's brain and immune system. Um, and it's just, to me, it's like Russian roulette, and I'm just not willing to play that.
Yeah.
Right, Flezzy B. If vaccines work, as they say, then being around unvaccinated people shouldn't be a problem, right? Yeah, but they
Oh,
give
but
you a long list that sounds really good. I swear, most people are educated beyond their intelligence anymore. They really are. it's just a sad state of yeah, that they don't know. They don't have the ability to comprehend. It's like that Good Will Hunting. Me and my daughter were watching that last night, and that's, like, the perfect example of, like, educated beyond your intelligence.
You froze? Yep, she's froze, everybody. Yes, Crime Geek. Cognitive dissonance is strong in that world.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yep, there you are.
Oh,
You're back.
yeah. I mean, I don't have the personality that I am easily, like, bent, you know, and I don't care about resistance. Like, it's never bothered me for people to I just don't care what they think because I know that they haven't studied it as much as I have, and they would never come close, nor would they even try. Um,
Well,
and
with what was that? Hydroxychloroquine
uh-huh.
during the last one.
Yeah.
It's one of the most safest medications known to the face of the earth
Yeah, I
in the
know.
VAERS system or in the FDA system. Millions of doses a year
True story.
with no effect.
Mhm.
And oh, it's horse dewormer.
Yeah. That was all just too much. I mean, it was just
Well, and Fauci killed AIDS patients the same way
mm,
because he spent all his time and all the resources on a vaccine.
yeah,
Well, how are people surviving today from AIDS?
yeah,
Through drug therapies,
yeah, and
not vaccines.
that guy is the Antichrist, in my opinion.
That,
I he is a
I'm
talking head.
sorry, but if you're not actually seeing patients, I don't think you should carry
No,
the honor of
yeah,
the word doctor.
yeah, and the thing is, people they don't know that, a lot of the Pfizer leaks, they don't even know about them. 'Em.
No.
Wasn't it Pfizer?
Yep.
Yeah, and that data is terrifying. Like
Well, and even because like one of the first studies they put out was done through the VA, right?
mhm,
Because where can you get a group of people that are too old to ask questions and way too sick? The
mhm,
VA.
yep,
And they didn't give them the therapy until they were already on their deathbed
right,
on respirators. Of
yeah,
course, it didn't work.
yeah. Yeah, we took, my cousin is brilliant. I mean, she is absolutely brilliant. I am in awe of her every time we speak. But she came up with her own researched, sourced backup after backup of data for a protocol for the vid. And that's what we all did.
Yeah,
Worked
I did
great.
the Mavic protocol.
Seroquin, I don't know how to say it. That was one of the top ones. I remember vitamin D, D3 specifically,
Yep.
and I can't remember some of the other ones. C, I believe A, vitamin A as well. I don't know. It was a really good protocol, and we just all, as everyone in the family, got the breakdown, and that's what we did.
Well, and low vitamin D levels wound up being the key.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't realize how important some of the vitamins and minerals really are, and the lack that we get in our diet today in society. Like, um, and being able for your body to be able to use it effectively.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know that their body is not designed to methylate medications in their compacted form or their delivery, but like you can get medications that are methyled. They're like methylated vitamin B, for instance. A lot of people can't break that out. Potassium. You get a huge potassium horse pill from your doctor, and for most people, it's unusable. You shit it right out
Yeah,
because your
it's
body
your
can't
body's not.
convert
And
it.
most pills like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And so you have to be really careful with where you purchase and what type you buy. Like liquids are the best for us because we have done that the all of the different we know our
Vitamin levels, mineral levels.
that as well. 'Cause that's why we did the hair analysis and also doing the S&P with it. You get what you get from 23andMe and those types of sites,
Yeah.
Ancestry, but that raw data that you have access to, if you pay to have your entire um like I think it's the short arms, so you have long arms and short arm. You have chromosomes, and then you have the genetic code, and then you have the short arms of that genetic code that is basically the epigenetics,
Yeah.
to where it's affected by your environment, and those can be altered through through lowering your oxidative stress, like by being forewarned that you have like I have personally, I can't remember, it was like 5 or 7 times. I am 5 to 7 times more likely to get colon cancer and kidney cancer than nine, than other people. But I started creating my own templates. That way I could effectively search for what I wanted to find in my raw data in my daughters.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's really, once you learn it, it sounds hard to do, but once you learn how to input, it's basically just data entry.
Well,
And
and they
then it generates.
because that's what they've recently started doing with breast cancer.
Yeah, with with the genes.
Yeah.
But they started to do that in psychiatry as well. And it was working really well as a assistant tool for psychiatrists to properly understand their patients from a genetic level, predisposition level. And
Well, yeah,
then
because
it was
there's, I mean,
also,
it, there's schizophrenics who walk around every day unmedicated,
yeah, scary.
but there's they're normal people. They appear to be normal people,
Hmm.
and they'll live successful lives, and they'll never
Yeah.
get treatment.
Yeah. I don't know any, but
But there's others.
that
Did
was
you
just
see the study
severe.
on marijuana and and schizophrenia?
I don't think I've seen that one. I read the one on marijuana and pain for chronic pain
Yeah,
patients and lung disease,
yeah.
believe it or not, which seems like kind of like an oxymoron. But yeah, like there is a lot of peer-reviewed articles that are coming out on the effects of obviously not smoking it, but tinctures, and I think it was like Dr. Sims oil. And there's a couple other types of edible type things that are the research was amazing. It's done out of Denver. And then there's research on marijuana for seizure,
Yep,
and
yep.
also Tourette's, that is making huge differences. The problem is it's not a billion-dollar business for
Well, it's
pharmaceutical
the
companies.
the seizures they're talking about are very rare.
Yeah, yeah, and they affect a lot of children.
Yeah.
And ALS, I did read a study on the benefits of marijuana for ALS, and a bunch of other stuff.
But no, this one was and it was a back study on 6 million patients
Wow,
for
that's
and
crazy.
marijuana users were like a third more likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting. I've always kind of like
But I wonder if because
the chicken or the egg, you know?
exactly if it's somebody just trying to treat a psychosis with marijuana because they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's definitely that um chicken or the egg, and not really knowing like what um
Like unless they can show me a path,
right.
it's related, but in what way? That's the thing.
Yeah, my dad, I mean, he's a highly intelligent man. Sometimes like so intelligent it's hard for him to like break things down. But to like a level that the whole room could understand. And but he was he grew up like just very like he very sheltered kind of too. And so all of a sudden he's like sending he starts researching medical marijuana, and he calls it the entire name, which I'm not even going to attempt to say what THC stands for. And then it's not the hallucinogenic, it's the cannabinoid. And he was sending me and my brother like all of this material on um weed. It was just like my brother was finally like, "Dad, like I know all about it. Like there isn't anything that you're going to tell me that I don't know." And I'm like kind of the same, but what he was doing was he was emailing me, and he was putting my daughter's name in the subject. She was
Oh,
like
jeez.
7. She's like 7.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dad, please don't do that." Like we don't, we don't wanna go down that road. I like the research, but like and we went out to Colorado with him, and it was like a family trip, and he's like dead set that there was no THC in what he was purchasing at the so going into a weed store with your deacon dad is fun. Like it's fun. And he was arguing with the lady that was helping us, that he would be able to take it on the airplane. Or like my sister and I were just like, "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry." Like, but he was just adamant, "No, it doesn't have any texture title, whatever THC is." And we're like, "But dad, you're buying hybrids." Like,
Yes, it does. It's just very, very small amounts.
but you still can't fly with those. Like you
Exactly.
can't get on an
Yeah.
airplane. Like you're literally gonna get you're it's not gonna go well. Like they don't
Oh,
care
that
they don't care about your naivete, you know? That
there's
is not
signs.
gonna matter to
Yeah. There's
judge
signs on
passport.
95
Hey,
that
Ruckus.
say, if you're carrying weed, please
Yeah.
don't speed. Because the jails in western Kansas are smack full of people
No shit.
who
Oh
have
my
drove into
gosh.
Colorado to buy weed and did something to get stopped, and they spent
That's
all their
funny.
money on weed. So they can't post bail.
That's so bizarre.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I did well, no, I'm not gonna tell that story. I'm gonna cut myself off. I'm not gonna tell it. Caught myself. Woo! Caught myself. I'm proud of myself for that. But yeah, so we were there, and remember, he thinks that this is just the cannabinoid. I'm pretty sure that's what he kept saying. And so he had these patches.
Oh, jeez.
And he has them on the bottom of his foot, which is the proper place if you want medication to get to you. He's got them on his elbow here. He had one on his back. They were just stuck everywhere, and he was higher than 10 hippies. And he
Oh,
didn't
I'm
know it.
sure.
Like, he did not.
No, he
He
just thought that
was,
cannabinoid was making him
yeah,
feel good.
no, he was just adamant that it did not have hallucinogenics in it. But my dad is the type that, like, he knows everything about everything, right? And so he is a walking history lesson when you go anywhere. Like, he knows the history of the ground, like, and so whenever it always starts with, "Did you know?" And then we hear, like, all of this information that, I like it, but the rest of my family is not a big fan, like, they just wanna, put their iPod, the kids just wanted to listen to their iPods. They did not wanna hear the dissertation on the history of wherever we are. It doesn't matter, like, that's just him, and I totally appreciate that because 'cause I'm a lot like my dad. But, not this trip, because he was so high that all he wanted to do was stop at gas stations and get snacks. And, like, he didn't tell us one did you know story. And we literally went up to, it was in Vail, and we're in this beautiful, like, lift, and it's just absolutely gorgeous scenery. And my dad would have had, because we also, like, saw, remnants there was remnants out there of, like, teepees and, of just things that my dad would have definitely been interested in. He didn't even look out the windows. It was circular windows in this big lift, and he is sitting there eating pork rinds of all things, stinking up the entire lift. It was, and he didn't care. He didn't look at anything. I don't even think he got out at the top. Like, he just sat there and ate. And then he wanted hot dogs from the gas station for some reason. And yeah, like he ate the whole trip. And then we're getting ready to leave. And he is adamant that he is taking the leftovers with him back to Indiana. And I was like, I don't know. I think we're gonna have to call Market, like my brother, in on this. Like, he is not listening to us. Like, he would not listen to me and my sister that he could not do that. I went and got him, and then she hid them from my dad. It's like, oh Lord. So I get it, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, definitely check out my cup. I'm getting to use it for the first time. It just has water in it. Oh, LA, he was so high. It was hilarious. It was so fun. Yeah, he's on my podcast. I made him come on and he hated it, but I made him join me for Dapper Dad Talks after the podcast like episode. And then I was like, Dad, did you even listen to it? And he was like, no. You have to listen to it in order to give like commentary about it. Like, that's the whole point. He was like, well, honey, it's just not really my thing. Like, but you agreed to do this, and now you're a part of this podcast. And like, what am I supposed to do? Just be like, yeah, my dad said it, I'm not his thing. Like, he's not into it. He's not gonna do it. So funny. But yeah, they're a hoot.
Holy crap, man.
But yeah, I am tired. I've been in a bad mood all day. I don't know why. Just the dentist. 2 days in a row of dentists. The smell in there is atrocious. I don't know why they can't do something about it. The high-pitched whirring of the machines. Why? Like, why can't we put like a blanket over that? Like, I don't get it. I went to the dentist. I have a phobia of the dentist. Like, it is deep set. And I went on Wednesday, and I take medication before, so my daughter goes with me, and of course she's making me laugh. But like, it was so ridiculous in there. Like, I had like at least 30 images taken of my tiny little mouth. They tried to put a like the adult where you got to bite down on that thing, and then they take pictures of all your freaking teeth. And then she's like, bite down. I'm like, I can't. Like, I literally can't. It's hitting the roof of my mouth and the bottom. Like, my mouth is tiny. Like, I have microecthagnia. Like, yeah, I can't. So they had to get me the pediatric one. That took at least a half an hour to get all of these images. And then they took pictures. I'm like, are you kidding me? Ugh. Ugh. And then they're like, yeah, you have a filling that has broken, which they did show me and verified that. And then I had one small cavity, which they showed me, and not just the white, like thing on your x-ray that they show you, just be like, yeah, look at this, it's very serious. Yeah, no. LA, stop it. Enjoy your bed, sir.
What's he doing?
You got a tiny mouth. Yeah, I really do. And yeah, it was just absolute torture. And then the dentist comes in, and I swear he had like sausages, 4 fingers. And then when they snap on the gloves, Ugh. Ugh. Then they try to get their hands in your mouth. Like, I can't. I can't handle it. And I haven't even made it to the cleaning or the cavity fill yet.
Oh, the cleaning's always the funnest.
No. No, it's awful. It is absolutely barbaric. I do it myself.
Oh, come on. It's like they're repaving a road. Got shit flying all over your mouth. Smoke comes
Oh,
out.
then that suction thing. Spray water in there or air, who knows what they're gonna do, and then they make you suck on that suction. That is so gross. That is just so gross. I
Oh,
can't
imagine
handle
what
it.
emptying that thing at the end of the day would be like.
Dude, that's literally gonna, like, that made me instantly, like, a little bit hot just thinking of it.
That's a clippable moment right there.
No. Yeah. Also, carpet cleaning trucks. Whoa. That's a lot of dirty water by the end of their day.
Oh yeah.
People are really gross.
Oh yeah.
Content
Imagine the
gonna be
sewer trucks.
What have I said now? Oh, we sucking sausages in your speaker. See, that's what I mean. We were having a fine conversation and I was making sense to you. And then he comes in and makes it all dirty. No, his hands were they're just like, why can't I get a dentist with small hands? Like, I called around and asked. It was like, do you happen to have any dainty dentists?
Why don't you find a female dentist?
I thought I did. And then when I got there, it was not a female. They I think that they thought I was gonna be a real case, like, and based on my conversation with the receptionist desk, I understand why they thought that I was going to need a lot of help, a lot of work, and probably their like top dentist. So I had called to get one that I had found online, and she appeared to be very petite. But that is not who I saw. They put me with the head dentist, like the head honcho dentist, and he was a very nice man. My daughter tried to tell me that because there was like Buddha stuff everywhere, and she was like, "Yeah, mom, he's not wearing shoes. I think he's like a monk." I was like, "What? He's literally not wearing shoes in public?" She had me when I believed her. But he did have shoes on, so that's fine. But, yeah, it was terrible. I hated every second of it. I gagged. I don't even know how many times just because of all the grossness that goes on there. This Just everything about it is just ugh, ugh, so gross. But I'm gonna go. And the thing is that I taught myself how to clean my own teeth on YouTube. And then I ordered, a very expensive set of their tools that they use, and I do it myself, and I've been doing it myself for a long time, and, so I think when they heard that I had not gone to a dentist in a very, very long time, they were thinking like, "Oh gosh, she's gonna need, like, our extreme clean," like, it's gonna be bad. But that's not true. I just have the, standard cleaning because I've been doing a good job. I may not be able to make it through the clean, to be honest. I don't think I can. I don't think there's enough medication, and they won't sedate me. I'm like,
I was surprised to find out they do that to kids. now.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, the only thing available was nitrous oxide.
He is such an a-hole.
Oh,
Where
you
is
read the
it?
super chat?
How do I get to it? Uh, where is it? Is this it? Oh, we stuck a sausage in your tiny mouth. Thank you for the super chat for sausage in your tiny mouth with your gag. Yeah, sure do. Yep, sure do. It's just, oh, there it is. The sausage fingers, yeah. Ugh. And warn other small-mouth patients about the horrific X-ray alteration. I'm telling you, like, I have, like, a cut up here. I'm like, "Listen, lady, like, you need to get the pediatric one out, like, this is not gonna work out." And she did, she had to go get a whole 'nother machine. But something happened to my jaw, like, I got lockjaw, about 10 years ago, and it's just never been the same since. Like, it
Like
just locked up.
TMJ or lockjaw?
Yeah, I do have TMJ, but it just, like, I don't know, I couldn't open my mouth. Like, it was like I lost a bunch of weight, like, and of
Well, I'm
course I wouldn't go
sure.
to the dentist. But yeah, I could open my mouth like that. That was it. Like, it was just
Good
locked.
lord.
Yeah, it was awful. And, like, I wouldn't eat in public, but I also would not seek help, so that was pretty crazy of me. But, yeah, they told me they were gonna have to break my jaw and then wire my mouth shut. I'm like, "No, thank you. No. No, I'm not gonna be having that done." So, braces are out. I think I think I'm on the spectrum, to be honest. Maybe not, like, more so, like, the social side of it, but, like, maybe, the, like, sensory disorder stuff.
Like
I had a
the
doctor ask me.
overstimuli.
Yeah, he asked me if, I had ever been tested for autism. I was like, "Well, that's kinda left field." He was like, "Well, not really, because you've just listed a whole list of sensory, issues that, you're afraid of." So, you know, he wanted to put me in a pod. I was like, "Absolutely not. Like, you're not gonna seal me in some weird."
Oh, like a sensory deprivation pod?
Yeah. I was like,
Oh, I would go nuts in one of those.
that sounds absolutely terrifying." Like, I am not getting in that thing. No. And it's supposed to help you? What? I don't know. That made 0 sense to me.
No, no.
Not happening. Never. He called you out on the spectrum. He did. He did. He, like, legit wanted me to go and get tested. And I was like, I don't need anything else to add to the list, you know? Like, I'm good.
But it would explain so much.
You think? Probably.
And I'm not saying it's an insult, but it would explain a
Yeah.
lot of your quirks.
Yeah. And it would
I
probably.
not that there's really treatment for any of them.
Right, there's not. So it's like, what's the point? But, like, it
So,
would
yeah.
probably explain the way that, like, my brain works as far as, like, I don't know. It's a weird thing, and it doesn't really come in handy in most aspects of your life. And you wouldn't even I would have never known that I had this ability unless it wasn't if it wasn't for true crime and taking screenshots of stuff. But for some there's something like the action of taking a screenshot locks that information in my brain, like almost like a Rolodex. It is so bizarre because I can just pull up that image.
Yeah.
And but I but like if I'm reading a book, I retain pretty normally. But if I take a screenshot of something, I can literally just like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know. I have dyslexia too, so when I was younger, I thought I was just so stupid. Like I was just not gonna make it, like I just was not and I didn't have any real I had gone they'd sent me to these special like schools to be diagnosed, and then they kept having me come back and do these at the time, I mean, I felt like they thought I only had the ability of, like, putting blocks together in kindergarten. I did not know until I was an adult, and my friend was, like, telling me she was like, "No, that's not what that test was. That's an IQ test." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she was, like, telling me to get on Mensa and look at the IQ test that that they give you in order to get into Mensa. And I was like, "You have got to be kidding me." Like, all of those, what do you call those? The grid and, like, what comes next?
Yeah.
That's what they were giving me when I was younger,
Yeah,
and
it's for
I
cognitive function.
it was so easy for me, like, I thought they thought I was that stupid, that that's all I was capable of. Like, of which one goes next? Do do do, like because it was just very easy, like to see that pattern. Like patterns are super easy for me. But like effective IQ, I would rather have that. I would definitely rather have that than to be able to see patterns in their weird IQ tests. But whatever. I wish there was a way to like train your brain to use all of your IQ. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think people would be horribly depressed if they could do that.
Why is that?
Just because you're fighting a losing battle every day.
Yeah. But like
And if
with
you knew it,
yeah.
if you knew your likelihood, chances of just survival, most people would give up.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when like you get it, you know? You get beyond the facade. I don't know.
I think people are just smart enough to want to keep going, which is good for the human race.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I call them Suzannes. I had a
why do you
friend
call them
and
Suzannes?
because Suzanne was just a friend of mine when I was younger, and she was just real simple, and she was completely happy.
I wish I
She
could
was
be that.
so happy,
I wish I could be that.
simplistically blissful, like she did not like she was just the bottom of the class, like, but she didn't care. and she didn't want to know. She never had one single question. Um, she didn't, I had no answers. Like, I drove my teachers crazy, because what they were teaching needed to make sense. It needed to be logical. And you do not get that at a private Christian school.
Oh no, I didn't get that in Catholic school either, and I drove
You
the
do not
nuns
get that.
crazy, especially during religion class.
Yeah. And like, she was just, she just happy to not know anything.
I got suspended in like the 4th grade because I pointed out that that the wines and fishes was witchcraft.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got an in-school suspension in, my, we just called them simple things like science, and biology, but we had to do this was this is what was written on the board, a non-biased, creation versus evolution paper. And it was worth, a very high percentage of our grade. And so, I obeyed. Like, I did a non-biased report of evolution versus creation, and I turned it in, and you'd have thought that I had said that I worship Satan. Like, I got called into the office. I got reprimanded by the principal, the assistant principal, my science teacher. They called my parents, because my paper was, non-biased. I was not leaning towards creation. And I'm like, well, this is science and biology, and that's what you asked us to do. Like, I don't understand what I have done so wrong, you know? Like, I made no
Well,
claims.
you proved that their brainwashing wasn't working.
Apparently, they took a high offense to that, but I got suspension over it because I wouldn't back down. I'm like, I am struggling to see, because they were trying to say that I had turned in a paper that was pro evolution, which that's not what I did. That's not what I did. I didn't turn in a paper that was pro either one. It was simply a paper. Creation
A
versus,
non-biased paper.
yes, creation versus evolution. And yeah, and then like, uh, I was like, I'll take the in-school suspension. I had a lot of in-school suspensions. They tried to make me, I had gone to public school for a semester, and it did end up being horrible because I did not have the social skills of a child that went to school at all. I didn't go for 5 years, so I didn't know how cliques work and things work. And I had met this, like, boy, at, driver's ed, and then other, like, people in drivers, and I was like, "Oh, I'd love to go there." Like, and I finally talked my parents into letting me go because I wanted to take anatomy and physiology. I really, and I wanted to take literature. And, a lot of the different classes that Avon offered that we did not have at Bethesda. And, like, I just wanted to go there, and I thought that I would be able to make friends, and, oh, was I wrong. That boy just so happened to be talking to, like, his girlfriend was the most popular girl in school or whatever they call it. And I had library, like, 2nd period, and I had got lost, like, they just hand you a map and, like, you're supposed to find your classes, so it was just horrible a horrible day, and I was sitting there in the library by myself, and this group of girls is like, come sit with us," and so I'm like, "Awesome, like, I'm gonna have friends." Yeah, no. I had never even heard of the names that they called me, because I had been talking to that boy over the summer. And I said, I don't understand why you're mad at me. I feel like you should be mad at him because I didn't know about you. And that did not go over well.
Oh no.
That landed like a bag of bricks. And that semester was horrible. Like they dumped water on my head the day of pictures. I got pushed into lockers, my books dumped daily. Um,
So you got the
by
full experience.
friends. Oh,
Just
yeah. I
just
ate in the bathroom. I ate in the
see.
bathroom if I ate at school, because the lunchroom was just and I didn't know I was like, no one wanted to talk to me either. Like I couldn't make a friend because then they would be bullied as well. It was terrible, like and so the lunch like, I couldn't go through the regular cafeteria line because of my you line up, like, in rows by your, last name, and, we just so we're, like, right there, different names, but both W's, you know?
Yep.
And so he just made it, impossible, so I just started going to they had, like, a snack, row, like, line that you could go to just get, like, a Snicker bar or something like that, and I would occasionally brave that line, and then I sat in the bathroom, like,
Oh
just to have a
jeez.
reprieve, like, it was horrible. And it got so bad that but I'm not a quitter. Like, I loved my teachers. I loved the classes. I loved the books. I loved the learning, and that was enough for me to, like, put up with all of the other BS. And I did not wanna leave. But at the same time, I was withering away, and finally, after, so long, my parents noticed. And then my friend told on me. She told them what had been happening to me at school. So, they made me go back. But,
Oh Jesus.
yeah. But that's one of those things where it's, like, social like, I think other kids are just, like, they know all of they're just, like, born with that innate ability to read a room or, like,
No, no,
know how
they
to
learn that
act.
on the playground.
Yeah, I didn't go to playgrounds, though. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh,
You know,
Aspen,
that's
it's good to see you here. It's been a while, dude. It's not my birthday. It was a pre-birthday present, so that she got me.
but I
And
mean
yeah,
that's well,
this is another one, bananas all around. Uh, I decided to try to get fancy with my drink, like my mixed drink, and I put like bananas in it. Never do that. Oh my god, it was disgusting. The blueberries are fine, bananas are no go floating around in your Tito's. Don't do it.
oh God. No.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking that was gonna be good, but I didn't wanna waste the liquor, so I tried to drink it.
Yeah, but if you ever notice bananas in a drink, they're always blended in.
Yeah.
Like they're never like sitting whole or
Right.
chopped up
Right.
in a daiquiri or something.
Totally true. Well, oh well. It's fine. Live and learn.
God,
But
that's
yeah.
making me gag just thinking about it. Fucking banana
And that's
soaking in
the thing is
vodka.
like
Oh,
I can't I yeah, LA's he hopefully he went to bed, but I cannot eat a banana off of a peeled banana. I I gag I can't even hardly look at it. Like, but like banana pudding and like sliced bananas dipped in chocolate. Love love banana flavor, but my potassium is always low. Like I don't know. They need to get to the bottom of it because it's really dangerous. And it's like the only symptom I have that warns me that it's low because you don't want to take too much potassium either because that's dangerous too. It's one of those ratios that should just um you should for some reason I just deplete it. And they always are like, do you eat bananas? And I immediately see the banana and I imagine me peeling it and sticking it in my mouth and I immediately just start gagging. Like, no, I absolutely cannot be doing that. But as soon as it's cut up, I'm okay. I don't know.
what
Weird.
about cutting it up before you peel it?
That
Would that
seems
help? Because you can do that too.
yeah. I prefer to just make
Then you're
somebody
just
else
taking
do
little
it.
rings off the end.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So is this all phallic shaped foods or just bananas?
No. Oh my gosh, you guys remember when I had that? What was it? It was like I thought it was like a zucchini, but it was actually like a something else.
Squash.
Yeah, and it looked like a big wiener, and I showed it on the live, and I'm like, "Look at this thing!" Like it had like it was like malformed, and it was beautiful. I had it on my table as decoration forever. But finally, someone in the chat informed me that it was not a zucchini at all. No, I like pickles. Yeah, like stick pickles. So that's close. I can eat those. I do like corn dogs, very much so. Try not to eat them because they're unhealthy, but I love corn dogs. So no, just bananas. Eat strawberries for potassium. Hmm. Can I put them in my
Also, like
liquor?
sip on Gatorade during the day.
Ah, it's so high in sugar.
Well, when I drink Gatorade, I cut it like 10% Gatorade, the rest water.
Yeah. I usually get like sugar-free adult light. Um and then the I have like an a- an additive that I can add to my water that has like all of the because really what you want in order to be able to effectively your body to be effectively use them, it's more about the ratio of the mineral compounds or whatever. Can't remember what it's called, but yeah, my potassium it was so low one time, and I was having like uh, I can't even explain it. It was similar to when I had the sleep deprivation. Like I ended up seeing things, and my head felt like it was somebody else's. Like it was wild, and I was completely out of it, like delusional.
Good lord.
And my husband at the time rushed me to the hospital, and yeah, that's what it was. It was sleep deprivation. So they gave me a sedative, and then I slept, and then the symptoms went away. And that's when they started to really take the insomnia seriously. Like, I don't know, something switched in my body when I was pregnant with my first daughter. Just I could not. Still this day, like that one was like, I think the longest was like 72 hours or something like that. And after a while, you start having like focal seizures, and all kinds of weird stuff starts happening to you.
Oh
But
yeah, your
yeah,
vision gets all messed up when you don't sleep.
yeah. And it feels like there's something whooshing around inside your eyeballs and your brain. Like it's like it's crazy. But yeah. But
That's not.
occasionally they'll like question the insomnia, and then they want me to go take a sleep study test. I'm like, I am absolutely not doing that. You're not hooking all that shit onto me. And I would have to stay there for days because I'm not gonna fall asleep. Like, it's just
Well,
not gonna happen.
now they've got a take home version of that now.
They do?
Yes,
Well, I'd be willing to do that, but they still
because
don't
I
want
went
you
in.
to take your
Yeah, I
medication.
when I first did a sleep study, I had to go in 4 times for them to get like 3 hours of uninterrupted sleep.
Yeah, like, that's why I refuse. I won't go
Yeah.
because next thing I know, I'm gonna be over in the psych ward because, like, the one that I would go to is connected. The sleep study part is connected to the psych ward, which is really weird because they lock you in. Like, you can't leave it. I've gone with my daughter several times, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, but, like, they would just eventually transfer me over there, and then I might not get out." That's my fear.
Yeah, they have a
So
new take home one now where it's one box and
really?
only one hand has wires on it.
Okay. She
It's
had
not like the old one where, like 72 leads hooked up to you and
yeah, all over her head, all over her body, finger, and then the nose, like, cannula thing.
yeah,
It
yeah, to measure the oxygen and
I was like, "Lord," I would freak out with all that shit on me. And then I can't sleep anyway. Like, I don't know. If I don't take a medication, I'll just be up indefinitely. Like, it is not going to happen. Like, it just doesn't happen. I just don't go to sleep. I just stay up until I end up seeing things that aren't real, and that's scary as hell. Like, you can't you don't have enough brain power to figure out that things are not real. Like, it is crazy.
yeah, that
It
only happened to me once and it was during Desert Storm and we
Yeah.
hadn't slept in about 3 days. And I started
Wow.
seeing cows in the desert.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's scary. I don't remember past a certain point, like, I don't remember him taking me to the ER, I don't remember being in the ER, I remember waking up there. I mean, like, where am I? Like, what has happened? But, yeah, I went into, like, a complete psychosis, like, some kind of delusional, like, psychosis. I don't remember what they called it, but it's caused by sleep deprivation. And, yeah, you can die from that shit. But, yeah, the potassium thing, I found that keeping that balanced, which is so difficult for me, but if when I can, it, makes me feel better. Mm, it's crazy of what a difference a mineral and, like, vitamins and minerals can make on your mental health. But Oh, I can't see a banana and not think lovingly of Mel.
I'm
So
not
I
even
do
gonna
eat
touch that one.
spinach and avocados and occasionally sweet potatoes. So yeah, it just won't. It's just super unstable too. So like the range for potassium is very it's like 2.7 to 3.5 or something in it like. And like I think mine was at a 1.7 or 8.85, 9.5, and they freaked out. They're like, "Man, that you could die. Like this is a heart
Well,
attack,
yeah, you could go have a heart attack,
seizures."
yeah.
And I was kind of like it feels like out of body experience when it gets really low like that. That's like the only sign I have that I've messed up along the line. Like I have not taken enough. Because it just gets like I'll get like really loop like I'm on drugs. Like I feel like I'm on drugs and um yeah. But as soon as I drink like the Adolite, then I'm fine. Once I get the potassium back in my body and like restored, I feel so much better. Yeah, it's not my birthday. She just got me an early birthday present that I opened. So, but I'm gonna go to bed because I have to get up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I'm really not looking forward to it.
Oh, have fun with that.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person. Ugh. Ugh. But since I am forced hostage to my child right now, it's like having to um, take her everywhere. But she's paying me, so that's good. But
At the end of it, go out and buy yourself something nice.
I'm gonna get me some clothes from Mexico. I found a pair. Oh my gosh, it was on Amazon. This is how ridiculous women are. Like, who in the fork would buy this? It was a pair of jean shorts that were literally shaped like underwear. Like they looked like a pair of panties, and they were jean shorts. Who? What? Like, who would wear those? I don't know
All
what the world's
all kind
coming
of
to.
hoes. Have you
Yeah,
seen
there's some on
Spring
there. I'm
Break
like,
lately?
no, I've never been on spring break.
Yeah, don't.
I
And
don't
and
think I
don't
will.
ever let your daughters go.
No, I mean, we are gonna go to Mexico, but it's not spring break, so it's gonna be fine.
Oh,
Um,
you'll
yeah,
see who would wear those in Mexico.
yeah. I mean, we did accidentally go to a nude beach one time when I was a kid. That was a sight for, like we did not have any sex education. I didn't know anything about anything, and like all of a sudden, like mom and dad were like, my mom was busy putting up the tent and in the umbrella and like laying the blankets, and my dad's like making trips to the car, and me and my brother are just standing there staring at all these naked people, and they finally like looked around and realized that we were setting up with like my sister was like a baby. And, like, we're, like, the only family there, because it's a nude beach, and my parents didn't get the memo that it was a nude beach. It was awesome.
Oh, I was God, the first time I went to Germany, I was 12,
It's always an accident.
and and we went to Italy because my aunt and my
Yeah,
uncle were in the service and they were stationed in Germany, so we went over with them for the summer.
yeah.
And the only beaches on Giglio Island where we were topless.
Mm, there you
I
go.
got the worst sunburn on my back ever.
On your
And if I
back?
stood up, I had to run directly into the water.
Why? Oh,
Think about
okay.
it.
Okay, I got that one
Yep,
quicker than normal. Just
yep.
saying. I should get, like, a
Oh, yeah.
little trophy for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you caught
That's
on to that one
funny.
quicker than usual.
I know, didn't I? And then I only asked, "What does that mean?" once, so that's pretty good.
You're learning. You're learning.
I'm getting and then I have this Urban Dictionary now that I can, like I don't know. If I don't care about I just don't care. And I can't I won't. I don't I if I don't care and it to me it is fluff type stuff like um kind of like how people like I get it like it's other people's thing but I just cannot I don't care. I could care less who Kim Kardashian fucking marries.
Yeah, me
I it
neither.
makes me so mad that that stuff is on trivia. Like I immediately get mad. Like that all that crap, like who sings what and who's dating who, and I just cannot give any fucks to it, you know? And that's how I
Well,
kind of feel about like innuendos of society and like what's this term and that term and like I just don't care, you know?
we should make our own trivia game, like trivia of things that matter.
Yeah, that's how they all should be.
Yeah,
It's
not pop
insulting.
bullshit. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
it
pop
is
bullshit.
insulting for the word trivia to include pop culture and all of
Yeah.
that jazz. It is just it's insulting to the word and it's very upsetting for me. And I don't like it. I want it to be about history and science and philosophy and anything but that. Like I don't ever get one question right. And I am proud of that. I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all. I'm like, "Go you for knowing who Jennifer Aniston married this month." Like, I don't even know. I have 0 clue. I usually only know people by their names in shows that I like. I don't know their real names, like isn't it kinda weird, though? Like, people are so into, like, the daily lives of stars, like they actually matter. Like those people actually matter.
Well, it's because their real lives are empty.
Yeah.
I mean,
Suzanne.
it's a sign that their real lives are empty.
Yeah. It's, it's just weird to me. I don't get it of, like
Oh, the
especially when and they name their kids the most ridiculous off the wall shit just because they're stars, like and then, you know, like, they just want you to look at them and, like, people actually pay for those magazines and, like, subscriptions to learn
oh
about
the I mean, there's enough money in it to where gangs of photographers set up for days to get one picture.
Yeah, it's
Like
insanity.
the big picture today was Kelly Pickler because it's the first time she's been seen since her husband killed himself.
Oh,
Just leave the woman alone.
wow, like, her husband really did because I Kelly Pickler, wasn't she on, like, America's Most
Yeah,
like, that show?
yeah,
She's country, right? Or she was.
yeah, yeah. She
I
was.
like her. So her husband killed himself, eh?
Yeah, just
And
leave the
so
woman
that
alone.
did that make the front page, I'm sure?
Uh, no,
Oh,
actually, because she wasn't at the top of her popularity when it
right.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
But leave the woman alone.
Yeah. It's so invasive, you know? But then there's the ones that, like, they want it. Those are the ones that are the I don't understand. Like, they want paparazzis. They
Oh
literally
yeah, like the
want people
Instagram
to,
freaks.
yeah, invade their life. I don't know. I think if I
Oh, I
met
can't
them,
stand it when a private investigator's following me around every couple of months.
yeah, I bet. I can't stand yeah, that would be terrible.
Well, I've learned to
Um,
deal with them, and
I
what I did the first time I called the cops on them. I waited till the
really?
kids got off the school bus,
Yeah.
and I called 911 and told them that a strange car was parked watching children get off the school bus.
Nice.
I had 5 law enforcement agencies here in, like, minutes.
That's a good one to do. Yeah. I can't imagine the annoyance of that. But yeah, like, they want that. That's what's so bizarre. And they'll
Well, like
actually call them themselves
like the
and tip
Kardashians.
themselves in of where they're gonna
Yeah,
be. It's
like the
so
Kardashians.
weird.
I mean, it they were famous because of sex tapes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Supposedly leaked sex tapes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, my ass leaked.
Yeah. And then just the fallout that especially with the Kardashians and, like, body type and stuff, um, there isn't much real about most of them, you know?
There's
And
nothing
then
real about any of them.
right, and then you add in the filters
Oh, the filters, the
and the
Photoshop.
Photoshop, and, like, the fallout from that is just gonna be, it's just mental illness and depression and a suicide because it's not reality. Like, it's not even
Well,
close.
it's only obtainable under a knife.
Yeah, and, most of them end up looking clown-like eventually, you know?
Oh yeah,
Like,
look at
it's freakishly abnormal to look like that,
oh
but that is what like,
look at
that's
what
what the
Meg
pills
Ryan
are
wound up
super
looking like.
pushing. Who?
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan. Oh. Oh, yeah.
She
Oof.
was the cutest thing for
She
years.
was so precious.
And then
Um,
she got plastic surgery and now she looks like a lion.
Barbara Walters. Who's the other one that looks
Oh,
a fright?
Mickey Rourke.
I don't know who that is.
He is a plastic surgery nightmare.
Michael Jackson?
Yep, that's another one.
Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. And the doctors that keep doing those surgeries they should lose their license. Like, I'm sorry, but they know when they have someone with body dysmorphia and they are never going to see themselves as the way that they actually look. And like
Well,
they know, and that's their money, you know? It's
but
sad.
that's also everybody in Hollywood on
True.
any subject.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
think
crazy.
about people that are addicted to porn, right? They start
Yeah.
off watching, normal porn.
Yeah.
A month later, they're not affected unless it's, two midgets, five farm animals. You know what I mean? Just the
Yeah.
weirdest random shit. And
Yeah.
if you don't have anybody around you telling you no, like
Yeah.
Michael Jackson,
Yeah, he didn't have anyone tell him no. Yeah. Mm.
all
Yeah.
these stars don't have anybody telling them no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think the wine the Weinsteins
Ah, sheesh.
got away what they did?
Yeah.
And
100%. R.
and
Kelly.
it wasn't, I'm sorry, but uh like Ashley Judd,
Mhm.
she basically gave up sex for TV roles.
Yeah.
And
That's
she only
sad.
became upset when people didn't want to have sex with her for roles anymore, for movie roles anymore.
Yeah.
Is that really sexual assault, or is that just trading services at that point?
Yeah. I mean, it's letting you uh I mean, I guess it's a form of working your way to the top,
Yeah.
one penis at a time. Like,
And it's not like this hasn't been known about Hollywood forever.
yeah,
The casting couch. And
yeah,
who would go to a private audition at a hotel room?
yeah.
I
Hmm.
mean, come on. You can't tell me that these girls were that naive.
Right.
There's no way.
And then the parents.
Like
Yeah,
the parents of like Michael Jackson, they basically sex trafficked their
yeah,
kids to Michael
all of
Jackson.
them. Who was the one? I think it was on Oprah or one of those talk shows. Oh, she's super famous and was famous at a very young age. But the things that her mother subjected her to,
Oh, Brooke Shields.
Brooke
You
Shields.
talking
But
about Brooke Shields?
you're right about Brooke Shields. But there's another one. She's kind of in that maybe the '90s, early 2000s generation. Britney Spears was one. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they
who
were selling
was
her
that
butt at
girl?
like 13 years old. It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
yeah. Um, I can't think of, hey, Truthful Soul. I can't think of who it was, but I'm gonna show a picture before we leave of, hopefully, if downloads. Oh, he's so cute. Of Chaotic Stog. Yeah, that's cool. Save. I better pull it up first. Who knows what I'm gonna get? Look at her. So precious.
Oh,
Can you guys see it? Did I share right?
yep, yep.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah. Be thinking of her. Our doggies are like family, and her daughter is very attached to Callie, so it's gonna be really hard for her. So yep. And on that note, it was great talking to you, Mayo, as usual.
Oh, no problem. Hey,
And
when do you want to go through
um,
that interview?
oh, I know. I don't know what's going, like, if LA wants to do that with us, or if he, it kind of sounded like maybe he was like, maybe just me and you could do it. I don't know if that was
Yeah,
on
yeah,
his channel.
he got a lot of crap for that.
Yeah. Um, I how do you think that it's gonna set over here?
We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk to him and see how he wants to do it.
Yeah. Um,
So, I mean, all that's really left to talk about is the boss.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
And that interview,
Yeah, and the
um,
interview.
that's interesting. But I think there's just like such a deeper conversation that can be had on the case as a whole and the way it plays out in social media. But
Oh, it's
it's
ridiculous.
a difficult conversation for me to have, like, uh, I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, but
But it shouldn't
it
be.
doesn't scare me to cover it. Like, it's not,
No,
I don't care about people's opinion, like, they're
no.
not going to upset me. Like, if I read, things, negative comments. I mean, you cannot care about that and do to YouTube. You just can't. You'll drive yourself crazy. But I think it's an important case to talk about. I really do.
Yeah.
Because it just teaches you so much about perception, you know, and that perception
Oh, it's
isn't always
media
reality.
manipulation,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
it's the perfect case study of circular
mhm.
reporting.
Yes, 100%. And of just the sensationalism, and
Yeah.
that a lot of it is just flat out lying, you know? Like,
No.
you sent me that one, and I mean, literally, they had his fingers being cut off, his phallus in his mouth without a jaw, which I'm not sure how that has happened, let alone the skeletal remains found. Like, none of it makes any sense. It's just
No.
meant to shock and to outrage the public.
And there's no name attached to it, to this supposed private
Yeah,
investigator.
it is crazy. Or the
And
supposed coroner or medical examiner.
oh, and the funny thing is, the the medical examiner in her hometown is also the head of the NAACP.
Oh,
So you would think if anybody would speak on the condition of remains
yeah, it's
based on facts, it would be him.
right.
If
It is just,
anybody were to take a shot at a coroner, it would be him,
yeah,
but it's not.
and I know, and it is so bizarre. Like, when you really get into the nitty-gritty of it, it is so bizarre. I don't know if you've been looking at
Well,
this Oklahoma one, but I mean,
I
I don't.
think they're gonna find bodies
I do
on
too.
any land that that guy's attached to.
All of the cell phones, I mean, it is a house of horrors. Like, it is
Yeah.
reminiscent of, what's his name? Cleveland, Ohio, um,
Oh, the girl.
kidnapped the 3 girls at different
Yeah.
times, and they never
Yeah.
connected, and just kept them locked up. Like, it is reminiscent of that. And there's so many victims, and, it is, and it's appearing that if the family is, if we believe what the family is saying, and I mean, they showed video of them searching this house, which never should have been cleared by law enforcement.
No.
They should
No.
they should have never been allowed to go in there, for one, and that house should have been processed. There were drugs out in the open. They found their daughter's cell phones in there, along with a bunch of other ones. They found a ledger written in the wife, Holly's handwriting of names and ages of children, and there were, like, 32 people, like, men or claim this property as their address. Like, I mean, there's chains mounted, like, on like, what are those, eye hooks or eye
Yeah.
hooks? It's, like,
Yeah.
to the wall and the floor with chains and brink, like, locks.
Yeah.
Like, it is beyond disturbing, that they and it is even more disturbing that none of this was seized as evidence. It's
No, and
and
it can't be
the
used now.
families went 2 times, and they found more the second time that they went. That's when they found the letters and, like, things hidden under the floorboards and stuff. Like, this guy is a monster.
And
It's
now none
crazy.
of it can be used
Yeah, didn't even
because it's
seize the
all tainted.
computers. Like, what are you doing? And they are talking about that outside, and they're like, "The sheriff gave us permission. Like, we're not breaking in here." Like, he said they had cleared this. Like it was done, and they said that we could come here.
Well, I think the local sheriff
Lord.
who really should have turned this case over to somebody who could handle an investigation of this volume was
Yeah.
just looking at the bodies he had present at the time,
Yeah.
and
And
not
and
that
that
this was going to turn into
right. And that it
what
was a
it likely to turn
murder-suicide
into.
open and shut, you
Yeah.
know? So, yeah, I agree, but, I mean, what's their excuse now? Because, OSI and like, they are involved now, and they still let these families go back in and search a second time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What the hell is going on? It's not even their property. They didn't like, I don't get it. It blows
Maybe
my
they had
mind.
permission for because it wasn't his property.
Um,
It was owned by somebody else, but he
yeah,
was like the caretaker.
yeah,
So maybe they
but
did have permission of the owners.
she specifically said the sheriff said
Oh,
that
yeah,
that
the
they
sheriff
were
might have cleared
done.
them to go in, but she
Yeah,
might have had permission from the property owner.
probably, which at a scene like this, uh,
Yeah, you gotta look at the property owner also.
yeah, and, like, that house should I mean, because it's so full, like, it's kind of like borderline I mean, maybe not even borderline hoarder, to me, it's hoarder,
Yeah, yeah.
and, that there's no signs of them bringing in any kind of CSI, let alone, like, actually collecting evidence. Uh,
Well, no, because the local sheriff didn't treat that as part of the crime scene.
yeah, he actually, made sure he stated that the house was not a part of the crime scene. So it's just like it's just wild, that
I
and then there
Maybe
are
this sheriff knows what's been going on out there, and
maybe.
he's part of it. I mean,
I do think this one is gonna be one that is bigger than just McFadden. And then I think, and there is quite a few I found on NamUs, quite a few missing um girls that fit the victimology of, basically he's got like an age range and
yeah.
right around that area too, like within, 40 miles of that small little area in nowhere, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
like that's got to be looked at. those
Yeah.
cases have got to be looked at for this man. I
Well,
did hear
that
that they
DNA
are
needs to be collected from the property and processed.
absolutely. The cell phones, like, who these belong to some little girls. Like, it's insane. I just never it just blows my mind. Like, I feel so bad for those families that had to go in there and find their own daughter's, cell phone amongst, chains and dildos. I don't know what drug it is. I've never seen meth or heroin, but it looks one of the 2. It's in a
Right,
syringe,
meth.
and then just all of the other ghastly things that they had to see. I get it, I would have done the same thing. And the tapes they found, like yeah, like VHS to DVD, like, who knows what's on those hard drives? I mean, we
Well,
probably do
and
know.
I mean, if they got VHS tapes, they've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, and like, I do not like to victim blame here, but I do have to say, like, I don't know how a grown ass woman could live in that house and not know what's going on. It was not hidden. It
No,
wasn't like
no,
he had a shed that he had a lock on and didn't allow her to go in. This was all
no.
over
It,
the
it, it
house
wasn't
in
Dennis Rader,
Richmond.
that's for sure.
Exactly, and the blacked out curtains on every single window, like, this was a true house of horrors.
Yeah.
And then hearing from the grandparents of her children was so sad. It's just an awful one. But, like, uh, it just screams that they are searching that pond. Um, they were out they've been out to
They
the
need to
property
put
several times.
ground penetrating radar on that whole property.
They really do. They really do. Yeah, for sure. And I don't know. I have a feeling that it's just gonna keep growing. It just gets more outrageous by the day. Literally on, I think it was, like, May 2nd. No, and even on May 1st, like, it was like News Nation was literally, like, coming out with live after live of, like, breaking news of, like, what was going on. And
Yeah.
then on the 2nd, and then all week, really, but it's just mind-boggling.
And they're the only ones that are covering it.
Yeah, and there's other local, like, I think one of them was like
Yeah, like out of Tulsa and Oklahoma City.
yeah,
But I mean, as far
yeah.
as like national news,
Yeah, which is crazy because it's, like, got all of the things that you would think would like, I don't get, like, the Nicola bully, what it like, that happens all the time. Like, people just drown all the time, like, it's like a nothing burger, you know?
yeah.
And it blew up, like, everybody was talking about it, and I was just like, "It's so boring." Like, I mean, death is not boring, and, like, I don't mean it in that way, but compared to, like, what people latch onto a case and, like, it becomes, like, national, global news because that's global, like, it's mind-blowing to me, like, I don't get the pattern of it.
Yeah.
Some of the patterns are blatantly clear, like the Gabby Petito thing, even when I was, doing the David Elliott Penton, the child serial killer, um, finding, um, information on, some of the victims was so difficult compared to others, and you just kinda can't help but think, like, um, the little cute girls. I don't know, yeah,
Well, what
it's
I
sad.
there was one case they tried to, and it was a case out of L.A. and this girl was found shot on the side of the road.
Oh,
She was
man.
like 16.
Mhm.
Well, come to find out, she'd been living in a hotel for since she was 14. Her mom
Wow.
didn't know where she was, and she hadn't been reported missing by anybody,
Damn. That's so sad.
or the ones that are known runaways.
Yeah.
It's different if it's a known runaway and they left a note
Mhm.
than if it's somebody who just disappears off the face of the earth,
True story.
you
Yeah.
know?
Um, the, I get on Namus a lot, and, the amount of children, especially young girls, in a very particular, like, age range that go missing, that are just assumed runaways because they're in, facilities, um, is astonishing, and you can't help but think, like, "Okay, if I am a sex trafficker, um, I'm gonna target the runaways from those facilities," you know?
Well, you're going to target young girls on the street, period.
Yeah, but I'm
Because
telling you,
nobody
like,
cares about them.
we have one here, in Indy, and, most of the people that have, escaped that particular horrendous place, um, they're still there, they're in homeless camps right around the same facility that they
Yeah,
escaped from. Like,
yeah.
and, they've kinda created little communities, and a lot of them are kids, you know? I was out there looking for a 12-year-old, 12 years old. Um, and it was crazy to see, and then, and then the guide I went with, like, he knew a lot of people, so they were willing to, like, kinda talk to me, and, their stories that they told from being in that place, and, like, how long they've just kinda been outside of it in this community that they've created, was so sad. It's just so sad. But there's clusters, and then they're yeah, some of them run away, and there are other places, but the percent, like, there's got to be more. And there's a lot coming out of Texas that they are finding that they are doing exactly that. Sex traffickers are targeting the area around these places, and kidnapping or coercing, children to, go with them, and then they're never seen again, and nobody gives a damn.
Oh, right now there's a big problem with missing Native women.
Oh, huge. Yeah, I have some friends that cover that predominantly on their channels, and it is so disturbing, and nobody cares. Nobody is like, paying it any mind. It's really sad. But my daughter's in here, so she's getting frustrated with me. So I'm gonna head out. Thanks for coming
Already.
on.
Oh,
Thank
no
you,
problem.
everybody, for hanging in there, and, thank you, Chaotic, for your very thoughtful gifts. I love them. I'll see y'all later.